Artificial intelligence and biases. Would you be surprised if I tell you that we human, with the help of technology, can remove conscious and unconscious biases we have and make this place unbiased of anything and everything to live happily ever after? Once upon a time, in a land full of diverse people, there was a mysterious force known as bias. Bias was sneaky and it hid in the minds of the people, influencing their thoughts and actions without them even realizing it. Everyone was affected by bias, from the king to the peasant, from the young to the old, from the rich to the poor. It was like a game of hide and seek, where the seeker, the person, was always you, and the hider, bias, was always in your head. One day, a group of clever villagers decided they had enough of bias. They came up with a plan to catch bias in the act. They set up a series of traps all over the village, each one designed to detect the presence of bias and capture it. The traps were cleverly disguised as everyday objects, like a scale that would weigh the fairness of a decision. The villagers also appointed a bias hunter whose job was to patrol the village looking for signs of bias and helping the people to overcome it. To the surprise of everyone, bias was caught in the traps repeatedly. The villagers were amazed at how often bias had been influencing them without them even realizing it. As time went on, the villagers became more aware of their own biases and learned how to overcome them. They also started to share their experiences and knowledge with others, helping to create a more fair and just society. And so the villagers lived happily ever after, free from influence of bias. Basically, point to tell the story is despite all we do follow conscious or unconscious biases. And when I say we follow, what do we follow is nothing but data. It might come from society we live in, upbringing we had, social media circle we have, and so on. All these data we are using to feed to build AI systems. How can AI avoid these biases then? Today we are going to discuss couple of AI biases. Before we proceed further, I just want to make a disclaimer. This story is not written by me. Then who? Interesting question. So this is something about AI systems. Have you heard name ChatGPT a lot recently? I did too. Then I asked ChatGPT to give me a hook and a story for my talk, and it did. I chose one for this speech. Just like this story which is created by AI system, we can create a better world for all of us with the help of AI to live happily ever after. Let's find out what and how. Bias in AI refers to phenomena where a machine learning model produces different output for different groups of input data, even if the input is drawn from the same distribution. Bias can occur due to a variety of reasons, including the selection of data used to train the model, the design of the model itself, and the way that model is evaluated. Bias can lead to several negative outcomes, such as discrimination against certain groups of people. Addressing bias in AI is an active area of research and development, and there are a few techniques that can be used to mitigate it, such as fairness constraints, adversarial training, and resampling methods. Here are some of the ways to mitigate AI bias. Data pre-processing. This involves cleaning and transforming the data to ensure that it is representative of the population it aims to serve. For example, removing sensitive information such as race and gender from the dataset. Algorithm selection, choosing a bias mitigation algorithm that is appropriate for the task at hand. For example, using decision trees instead of linear models can help reduce bias. Fairness constraints. These are mathematical equations that are used to ensure that certain groups are not disproportionately affected by the AI system. For example, constraining a model to ensure that it makes similar decisions for men and women. Model interpretability. This involves making the model more transparent so that any bias it may contain can be identified and corrected. Human oversight. Human oversight involves having humans review and approve the AI system's decisions. This can help to identify and correct any bias that is present in the system. Continual monitoring and updating. Continual monitoring of the AI system and updating it as necessary to ensure that it remains fair and unbiased. It's important to note that AI bias mitigation is an ongoing process and not a one-time solution. Even after implementing these methods, it is important to continually monitor and improve the system to ensure it remains fair and unbiased. Human contribution is always going to be vital in building AI systems, and as I said, we can create the unbiased world for ourselves and everyone around us with the help of AI to live happily ever after, just like the villagers in our story. Thank you.